Welcome back. Again, if you like these videos, please be sure to hit like and subscribe so I know how we're doing here. And also, please feel free to leave comments, any questions in the comments section. Okay, so we're going to continue with our Chapter 16 city revamp. So we're going to look at some progress that we made offline, and then also we're going to look at planning out some ancient wonders. So as we can see, we had the residences all together in the upper left corner here. I left some space for some buildings for when the residences are expanded to the next step. So there's just enough residences that when they're expanded, it'll go all the way to the end. For right now, we're just keeping these culture buildings right there, and we'll move them out later on. Also, we had two armories here, and so we're going to build up three more. Now, in order to do that, we're going to have to gain more population, and so we're going to investigate what we could do with our ancient wonders. Again, we got the military, we got the. If you didn't watch the last video, we've got our city hall in the upper right corner here, tucked away. That's the pro way to do it. Then we have our military buildings all next to each other, next to the city hall. That's how I like to do it. Then we have our workshops in the corner over here, and then we have our columns uh, of buildings. So buildings that are have a greater length and width. They're going to be stacked here. I've got them all nice and organized where they're together. We've got the Imuni ships down here. These are really good for seeds, divine seed production. We've got our Moose of Ancient Wonders down to the bottom here. And the reason is these are so oversized that the best thing I found is to put them at the edge of the city and let the path go right down to it. And that way we can save a little space in the long run. Same thing for this. This is the Mountain Hall. This is the Blooming Trader Guild, and these are really good to put on the edge of your city. Okay, and then we completely moved while we were offline our settlement buildings into the bottom left corner here. This is a very good setup because we can keep every time you have a new chapter, you could have a new settlement. You have to redo the whole thing, and it's best to have it like in a corner like this, so you don't have to completely plan around it all the time. Okay, what else do we do? We put the academy in the corner over here. That way, it's easier to click on it if I want to do that. Easier to find. We put our golden abyss kind of in a location where it can be seen quite easily for the gold collection. And then we put all our factories together. Let's see. We got our marble, right? We've got our gems. We've got our crystal, and we got the I believe that's platinum, right? Yeah, that's platinum. Then we have our mushrooms and our dust factory, and like I said, I believe that was crystal and the gems. Okay, now let's look at what we can do for the ancient wonders. Actually, one quick step is let's look at what we have next in our knowledge tree. So we're planning this out. So we have three choices to complete. Uh, Improved Dwarven Embassy. So locks level 2 of the Dwarven Embassy. Okay. Improved Senate or improved Fairy Embassy. So all three are important, but I would do the Senate first. Okay, now notice these goods here are sentient goods, and we don't have a lot of them because of there's a heavy decay. We don't have the ancient wonder for it. That's the Simia. So we're really gonna have to build the Simia. Okay, the same thing for the others. These are key ones to get. From here, we're gonna go to the advanced Senate, so we could keep, advanced Dwarven, advanced Fairy Embassy, right? We want to prioritize our settlement buildings first set. There's still quite a ways to go in this chapter. We're not very far along, as you can see. There's just so many techs to do here. We're only, you know, one, two, three, 4 levels in. So we're pretty much at the beginning of 16 with the city. We're going to have to build a Simia. That's the next step. Okay, let's look at the ancient wonders of this city. We have Blooming Trader Guild is ready to upgrade. We can do that in a minute. Right now, let's look at our builders. We have some settlement buildings that are coming up, and we can accelerate those so we can get the um, uh, ancient wonders out. Okay, the only bad thing though right now is I just started those. So while we were offline, and I only have one neighborly help for the boost. I like to have the help boost for the ancient wonders because they take so long to do. It helps out quite a bit. If it's building to last like a couple hours like these, then don't really need the construction boost. So one technique that I could do as well, so I can go to the map. Here's a little tip. It took me a while to figure this out. Is just by chance. If you click on Show Provinces Overview, click on the Neighbors tab, and wow, you can see all the neighbors that you can give the neighborly help to. And once you do that, they're gonna there's a greater chance that you're going to get help from these guys. Some of them are going to be inactive cities. There's nothing you can do about that. But if you click on enough of these, and there's 36 pages of them, then you can get some help. And you never know. It could be kind of quick. Um, it just depends on what the other players like if they're monitoring their notifications. So we'll click on a few of these, see how it goes. I don't want to do too many. We're about to actually it's 7 o'clock, so my time. So what we're gonna do real quick is we're gonna check our daily quests that reset at 7. This is our seasons. I always want to use these. Um, get a reward track for that. Try to complete these. I wouldn't worry about the weekly right now. But the dailies, if we could do that'd be great. Magical manufacturing is one. I'm gonna do it on the mushrooms here. Now we fortunately have the Elvenar Trading Center, and that increases the duration of the magical manufacturing uh, enchantment. So we have produce a good amount of goods. We can do that no problem. Then produce a choice of 3-hour goods. So, what I did not plan out was a little mini city, basically where you have small manufactories that produce those 3-hour options for the quest. I do 9 hours on my manufactories. I don't like to check in that often on my cities. So, you can always do 3 hours on those, and then for the little ones you can do 9. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. Let's see, we're going to accelerate these, and we're going to brew some tea in the tea houses. Let's see, these were upgrade, so these aren't too bad, and we'll get these going. And what else do we have? We've got an upgrade. I know these are construction. Oops. I hit a 5. That's okay. I got plenty of them. All right, 2 hours, 30 minutes. Okay. So now we have 4 builders that are open. We go to our buildings tab, hit goods, and fortunately for the humans, the only goods that you can that are efficient to do this technique with are the marble because they're 2x1s. So we're going to plant those. Here's some space that we're not going to use. So we're going to plant them here. Let's check the. We could make 1, 2, 3 more. So we'll go to goods, marble. Make sure they're nice and tight. There's no extra space. And there we go. I think maybe we could put one more. We could put one more. But let's check and see what the quest is. Okay, there's a few seconds. So there's 8. So we're gonna need 8 somehow, and we need them vertically like this. So let's see. There's 3 we could put here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, 7, 8. So that'll be good. This will be 5, and then we'll do 6, 7, 8. Didn't have a lot of space to put these next to a road, so just happened to have enough in these particular areas. I'm sure we could hunt around and find more, but we'll just meet the quest. We'll go ahead and pick up some city treasure while we're waiting for the buildings to complete. Let's see what our daily is today. Oh, we've got ancient knowledge 10 times 3. So we can do some of this. Let's see, 51. Let's do this. Oh, we got some spell fragments. That's okay. Now 46 left on our keys. So we don't really have a lot. So there's really not worth it to do it right now. Our daily quest. Well, we're not caught up on the quest because we weren't really doing it. So use enchantments. Oops, clicked on the spire. We still have the spire to do. Let's do manufactory on these, and we'll just do some more on those. So that'll give us some more keys. Trading with the wholesaler. There's 2. When you do have a quest like that, I just do the last 2 over there. Goods for goods. Collect mana. Oh, yeah, it'll be a while for that. But we have a lot of culture buildings to do that with. We're going to use a time booster as the option here for our prize. And I think that's about it for now. Well, we got the 3 hour. Let's start the 3 hour production. So we did that in all 8. So we've got that going. And then next time we have our goods for our main buildings, then we can hit the other quest. Okay. Nice little side trip. Let's do the Ancient Wonders. So we have the Blooming Trader Guild, which is good. And what else do we have? We have Mountain Halls. That gives us population. That's good. We have the Golden Abyss. Go back for a second. That gives us population. That's good. It's rated upgrade, but it requires 23,000 spell fragments, which we don't have, and 35 royal restorations. So we're hurting pretty bad in the city. If we're really serious about this particular city, we'll buy diamonds rather. But as you can see, it's not really necessary to do that. We don't have to upgrade the Golden Abyss that far. And, so let's see how many royal restorations we have. We have 17. So we could get some buildings started here. We have the Elven Trade Center. and that's ready to upgrade as well. And then that's really it. So let's plan out our ancient wonders. Okay, vestige. That's we have a level one. Okay, that's fine. And the blooming trader guild we're gonna leave alone for right now. Tome of Secrets, we don't want that because that is it's just not efficient. It gives you knowledge points, but you got to put in thousands of knowledge points to get it. Um, Needles is good. It's pretty much a necessary one for the fights, for fighting in the tournament of the Spire. Endless Excavation's not really necessary. Sanctuary is an essential one because it increases troop health. So this is one of the first ones that we're going to do. Uh, Great Bell Spire. We don't really need that right now. Watchtower. We're not hurting too bad on culture. As we need more space, we could scale back on the culture buildings. So we can build the Watchtower ruins. Thrones, we really don't need. That's more for ranking points. Um, Bulwark, don't need. Mountain halls we have, which is good. That's fine. Prosperity towers, no. Heroes Forge will need um, at some point to help with troop battles. Enars we need for mana generation. Right now we have a lot of culture buildings giving us mana. We really all we need are the Enars, and we'll need to get it up to maybe a level 11 at least or somewhere in there, 16 in order to really start generating a lot of mana. So Enars is important. Flying Academy kind of. Maze of the Dark Matter is pretty good for mana, but I would put Enars above the Maze. Dragon Abbey is good for mana and troops. Temple of Toads for troops. Sunset Towers for seeds. We're good on seeds for right now because we have a lot of culture buildings that are giving us seeds in this particular city. Victory Springs are for troops. Definitely want to do that. Um, Lighthouse, a good neighbor. We don't really need that too much. Pyramid of Purification, we don't need. Um, Now, that leaves us. We have Time Warp and Simia. The Simia is absolutely necessary for sending good decay and also for troop production. So the Simia and our Martial Monastery. Martial Monastery gives health to troops. These are going to be two really mandatory ones we're going to get. And in fact, I'm going to prioritize Simia because we need it for our next quest. So I've got a little bit of space over here. And let me actually put it against the... don't really have space for these too much anymore. Let's see what these are. Let's see what chapter they're in. The magical mana huts you really don't get much anymore. They're pretty good, but while they're really like some of the best as far as generating mana, if you have a lot of culture buildings, since they're a 2x2, they'll get tagged last pretty much. So this one's good for seeds. We're just going to go ahead. I'd like to get rid of them, but I tell you what, let's just tuck them in between the armories for now. We'll see if we have space later on. I want to get that Simia snug against the wall there. It's pretty big to deal with, as we can see. There we go. And that's going to take a while. That's only 8 hours. That's not too bad. So we don't have any more construction boosts. We could give some more neighborly help and see if that works. We could also ask. I'm in a fellowship on this one, as I mentioned in the last video. I joined a fellowship that has 10 chests in the tournament that accomplishes 10 chests, so that we have the The blueprints, those are needed to upgrade magical residences. And it's also needed for, excuse me, that's my dog in the background playing with a toy. We also need the blueprints for artifacts to upgrade our evolving buildings. And the first one that we're building that we're going to look for is going to be the Fire Phoenix. So we're going to look for those to craft in the academy. And so we definitely want to have blueprints. We definitely want to be at a fellowship. If we're serious about the game, that's at least um, accomplishing 10 chests in the tournament and go from there. If you want to be more competitive and go for a fellowship doing 11, 12, or more, then it's going to require you to have maybe more of a time commitment and thinking about, you know, how serious you are about the game. There are fellowships that are pretty nice out there that do above 10 chests that are still pretty casual and chill, and that's fine. Once you start getting up into the 17, 18, definitely 19 is the cap. You're going to get maybe something that's a little more serious, people that want you to have a minimum tournament score and one that's consistent. So you want to be playing every week in the tournament. The tournament's once a week, just like the Spire's once a week. You want to participate in the Spire as well. Um, and those are really the mandatory things. I don't think we're going to get anything too quick. What I could do, and while I was mentioning the fellowship, is I could ask in the fellowship chat if somebody wants to polish the my builder hut so that I can have the boost. But 8 hours is not too bad. Okay, now the other thing that we really need, and we can't get it yet, is the thermal spring of youth. This is going to give us a population boost based on the residences, gives us a percent boost, and also gives us a culture boost. The culture boost is not bad, but the residences, we are really hurting on population. So the thermal spring of youth is absolutely mandatory for us at this point, but we don't have enough runes in order to build it. We're 3, 4 runes short. That's a lot. So we could get broken shards from the tournament, and that's what we're gonna have to do. We're gonna have to get a little more aggressive on the tournament so we could get enough broken shards. There's 10 for every rune that we need. Of course, we could get lucky and get a rune shard for the thermal springs, but you just that's just a completely random chance of getting it. So you just don't really want to count on that. The other wonder I didn't mention was the vortex of storage. I would totally skip this. It's not really necessary. It can help you speed through the chapters a little bit, but honestly, if you speed through the chapter too much, you might get a little burned out. So you want to pace it out. Um, I also didn't mention the time warp. This is really necessary for tournaments. This is an absolute must. Once you open up the time warp and Simia, you want to place them both. So we've got time warp, Simia, and our martial monastery. We've got some of the troop boost buildings that are good too. But the main troop boost building is the martial monastery. So let's see where we're at with that. Where'd it go? Oh, it's sanctuary for humans. So put it there. See how much space we get. Then we have space for us two building over here. You can put that there. And the time warp is going to be horizontal building. And it's actually going to go. Actually, we could put it right in here. So, we may have to rethink a couple things here. See, what's this one? This is Phantom Bear. Uh, 7,000 culture. That's not that much. It's not giving much. Um, it is chapter 16 though. Um, but it's really that's really not something that we really need. So we'll put oops. What's the wood elf float? Well, we don't really need that's an older chapter too. We don't really need it. So what we're gonna do is we have we're gonna put the ancient wonders all together over here, like so. And then we're gonna put our time warp in the little area. We definitely want the time warp. Time warp reduces the time between tournament rounds, and it's just absolutely necessary with a time warp and the polar bear evolving building. Then you can have an instant. You could do the tournament all at once. That's really nice, and it's nice to have that flexibility. You know, we all have lives outside of Elvenar, so it's really good to have that. The Trader Guild, that's a day. I want to wait on that. Don't really need it right now. And let's see. We don't need the tome. We'll want the needles for sure. Um, oh, wow. It requires 5 roll restorations just to do the level 1, and we're already out of them. We only have 2 left. So, good thing we built just the necessary ones. Um, we want to next start looking at if we're running a culture, the Watchtower ruins. Okay, and that's something. But other than that, the troop building. So there's 5 buildings related to troop bonus. You've got the needles. You've got that as far as attack strength. So you have the needles. You've got the Heroes Forge. You've got the, let's see, where are we at next? Should have the Dragon Abbey for mage units, are have a bonus to it, and then we have the Temple of the Toad. No, that's yeah, Dragon Abbey, Temple of the Toads. Okay, there's our trade center. Well, actually, pretty good to get the for um, goods that we need for the Senchi goods because we're going to use the magical manufacturing. It's going to increase the duration and the bonus that we receive, so we have a bonus to goods. Probably need to go ahead and do that. We'll have to eat that a little bit because we don't have a boost. Let's go ahead and do that. This is really probably a necessary one for us at this point, just because we're so low on the sentient goods. We can also accelerate this 8 hour, might as well, and a 15-minute boost. We've got, so our Simia is up, and we can start to populate this with our knowledge points. I would never use the runes. I would never. Actually, you should really not ever do this. But we don't really have um, the the knowledge points. The priority, of course, is your tech trees here, but we're blocked right now, so it's okay to put them in there. But what you want to do is the knowledge threads. So we've got knowledge point, the KP that we trade. We've got, let's see, delete. We got a 10, 15, 5, 30, 50, and 100. So let's look at our instance and see. We've got a decent amount, okay, of knowledge point tokens, and we need 200 for the Simia. So what we'll do is we'll use the 100. Um, and also, let's go ahead and favorite the Simia. So that way, the people that contribute, it appears first. They won't see the vestige. They'll see the simia first, and then they could contribute. Makes it a lot easier, in folks. So what we'll do is we'll 100 to Starfuzz, and then what I like to do is I'll do the 100 to Starfuzz, right? I'll type in what I'm going to do, exit the threads, go back in, and then click on Starfuzz Ancient Wonders, and goes to her favorite. So 100, 10 are free if you have a leveled up fellowship. That's nice. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. And double check. And we sure enough have 100. Okay. You always want to exit out of the thread before you go back, before you visit somebody for the Ancient Wonder, because somebody might contribute to the thread at the same time. So 50 to star. We'll just do star. Go back, exit, go back in. So 50 more. So we'll contribute 150 at the end. So we have a 30 and a 20. So we should have 150. Wilt, okay. And let's see, we've got a 30 to star. Now be careful, we only need 200. So this will give us 180. So we'll stop on this. So 30, 10, 20, 30. Because we only have 200, and we'll have we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chests. Actually, we did 10, so that's 90, 190 total. So that leaves 10. So it'll be extra chests for people to contribute. You just put it in chat. Hey, I've got 3 chests open, 10 KP total, and by Simia. So that pretty much does it for that. So if you're watching this video all the way to the end, kudos for you. This gets our city going. Hopefully these are some good tips. You see how nice and orderly the city looks. I don't have a bunch of zigzag rows. Everything's in columns and rows. Everything's together. It looks pretty nice. And there's even extra room here for our settlement buildings. So actually I have one, because I did the boost on the Sibia. So we're going to do another settlement building here, get it going, and away they go. Okay, please feel free to like, subscribe. Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments, and we'll see you in the next video.